qui dove il mare luccica e tira forte il vento, su una vecchia terrazza davanti al golfo di Sorrento. Un uomo abbraccia una ragazza dopo che aveva pianto, poi si schiarisce la voce e ricomincia il canto. Te voglio bene assai.
Welcome, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome to our community call for Hylo. Would love to know, everyone, where are you currently? Just unmute, say hello and your name and where you're based.
I'm John. I'm in Oregon.
Welcome, John.
I'm Angus. I'm also in Oregon, John.
All right.
Y'all should meet.
Actually, we've exchanged information on Hylo.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Okay, who else?
Brandon in Folsom, California.
Skipper Clark, Oroville, California.
Frank here in
Jesse.
Barcelona.
Jesse from Australia.
I'm Gary from Luxor, Egypt.
Welcome.
Hi, Joni in Los Angeles.
Jeff in New York City.
Phil, Oakland.
Beautiful. I see Patrick from Zambia. That's amazing. We've got such a global community. It's amazing.
Yeah,
All
this
right.
is Milo
Come on.
from Mexico. Hola.
Hola. Welcome. Bienvenido.
I'm in Mexico as well, in Tulum.
Beautiful. Well, welcome everyone. So for those who don't know me, I'm Yasmin Al-Baghari. I'm the community catalyst for Hylo, and we host these monthly community calls as a way to bring the community together and different communities interweaving together. So that's our purpose for this call, sharing some updates. So we're going to hear soon from Tibet, but first I'd love for Krisha and my team here to say hello.
Hi everyone, my name is Krisha. I'm part of the community team here at Hylo, and I'm calling in from Costa Rica. Nice to see you all.
Tibet.
I'm Tibet. I'm one of the lead developers of Hylo and wear many hats here. And I'm in Oakland, California. Good to see you all.
Beautiful. Thank you, Tibet. How many of you are new to Hylo that this is your first introduction? Just out of curiosity. Frank, Alan, John, beautiful. Welcome, Gary, Mara. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. We're so excited that you're here. So for people who are new here, Hylo is a community-led pro-social coordination platform for purpose-driven groups. Our main purpose is to fully activate the potential of these groups to create a flourishing future for all of life. This is our mission. This is why we're here. And welcome. We're happy to have you. So as every call goes, like we start with some product updates. So Tibet, Krisha, do you want to get started on that before we dive into our community highlight?
Sure. Actually,
welcome.
go ahead.
Maybe everyone to mute themselves just so that we could fully hear each other. Thank you, guys.
Actually,
All right.
Krisha, do you want to go first and share about paid groups as one of our recent new releases?
Yes, I'd be happy to. Okay, so if you were on our last community call, we shared about the release of paid content. So we've had a lot of folks over the years wanting to transition from Mighty Networks or Circle and continue to garner resources from the communities that they're stewarding within Hylo. And now you're able to do that. So with paid content, You can monetize your groups as well as run paid tracks within your group, which are gated and can support you in resourcing yourself for the work that you're putting out in the world. So at a high level, paid content allows you to put a paywall on your group or specific content in that group. So today we're going to do a quick little demo and also share, if you could please mute yourself, that would be great. We're going to do a quick high level demo and also share some resources with more in-depth content for you to understand this feature. And also we're available on Hylo to answer any questions that you might have about it. So let me share my screen. Okay, great. So the first thing to note about paid content is we are partnering with Stripe to do the transaction. So the first step before you can actually set up any paid groups is connecting with Stripe. So you're going to need a Stripe account to do so. And you can set up that linkage within Hylo itself. So if you're a steward of the group, what you're going to do is go to your group settings and then on paid content. Here you will see that I've already set up the linkage between my Hylo account and my Stripe account. So when you go there, you'll see an option to link your Stripe account. It will take you through some verification, some CAPTCHA, and then it takes within 15 minutes to up to 3 days to verify your account based off of Stripe's review. So be patient in that process. But at any time, you can click this check Stripe status button to see where your account stands. So I'm not going to demonstrate that just to keep this a little bit tighter today, but you would go to your group settings and then to paid content to set up that connection. So once this connection is set up, you'll see that you can accept payments and receive payouts. So this means you're ready to set up your offerings. So to do so, you'd click on paid offerings. So you can see that I've already created some test paid offerings for this group. This is a test account. So don't look at the names here. These are just test offerings. But I'm just going to run through this real quick. You see at the very top, there's a button to enable a group paywall. So say you want to create a paywall for your group, toggle this on, and this will require folks to purchase one of your offerings to be able to enter the group. Below, you'll see the offerings I've created. And it's super simple to create an offering. You just click this button here. First, you'll title your offering name, and then you'll add a description. We've enabled the option to add a sliding scale for your offering in the event that you want to give people the opportunity to choose what they pay. And here's where you can set the minimum and maximum quantity for that offering. Keep in mind when folks are checking out your offering in Stripe, that's when they will actually determine the amount they want to pay. You will see that you can choose your currency. Unfortunately, we're only limited to these currencies right now due to Stripe's limitations. And one more thing to note about the pricing. Once you create an offering and set the pricing, that is set. So be very wary of making sure that everything looks good, the price is what you want it to be before you save that offering, because once you go forward in the process, you won't be able to change the pricing, only the title and the description. Below you see a section called Content Access. So this is where you can add tracks to your offering. So tracks again are our feature tracks and actions. They're like a light LMS that allows you to offer courses or modules within your Hylo group. So here's where you would add a track to this offering. Keep in mind the track needs to already have been created before it can be added to this offering. So say this offering is access to courses. You can create the name of the offering, but the tracks need to be already set and saved before you can add it to this offering. So I'm going to just add that there. And here you'll see another toggle that if this offering is purchased, it grants access to the group. So say you share out this track that people purchase, then they could allow them access to the broader group, not just the track. one thing you'll note here is this button add role. So with a purchase of an offering, you could also assign a role to that individual. Say they purchase the course, then they could get the title of design lead. Again, these are the roles that you would already previously have set in roles and badges. We have some canned roles and badges, but you can also create custom ones. If y'all could mute yourself, that'd be really helpful. Thank you. Below, you'll see the duration. So there's a couple purchase options that folks have for your offerings. So since this is a track, it's only a one-time purchase. There's no subscription associated with a track. Now, say if I was to remove that track and it was just a general offering, you can see that you can have subscription offerings, so monthly, every 3 months, or annual recurring payments, or again, that one-time purchase for your offering. You can customize the buy button text like join now, join this course. And then below you will see the status. So you can create some draft courses, draft offerings, and then later on publish them so they're available to be purchased. I'm going to click save, and you can see that my offering was created. So again, once the offering is created, you can go and edit it, but you won't be able to adjust the pricing. Only the description, the name, the tracks, the offerings that are included, and the duration, but you cannot adjust the pricing. Another thing you'll note here is that from here itself, you can create a link to your offering. So say folks are interested in purchasing that course you created, you can copy a link to it and send it out, and it will direct them to the purchase page for that offering. I'm going to pause on this page and jump to paid content access. So this is where you can see all the records for folks that have purchased your offerings. So here I'm looking at the view records, and you can see that we have all these folks here that have either purchased or been granted access to the offerings that we've created. In order to grant access, what you would do is you click this grant access button. You would search for a member. Let's see. Tibet Ploop. And then from here itself, say you want to provide the offering and they don't have to purchase it. For whatever reason, you don't want them to have to go through the payment of that offering. You can grant them access from this module itself so that they can access whatever that content is. If we go back to view records, you can filter the people that have purchased by member name, by whether they were granted access or if they purchased the content, by the status of their membership or payment. You can filter by their offerings, tracks, as well as roles. So this is basically where you can really track who's buying what is the status of their purchase, and really get a good understanding of all those people that are part of your paid offerings. So I'm going to pause there and just see if there's any questions. And also, I'm going to pop in the chat a longer demo video. It's about a 10-minute demo video that we created on this that goes a little bit more in depth, and also some documentation that is written documentation for your reference. But yeah, I'd be happy to open up to some questions. Cool. All right, well, I'll link that documentation for you all, and we hope that you guys play around with this. It's something that we're really excited to be offering. And yeah, we'd love to hear how it works for you. And as always, we're very open to feedback on these features and are constantly adapting our features based off of our user feedback.
Thanks, Krisha. Yeah, we're calling this a kind of beta release because it is a pretty significant feature set, and when we're working with money in particular, we want to make sure we get everything right. So we have a few groups that are kind of testing it out, and if you want to be a part of that and help us, make sure it's all working the way it should be, let us know. But it is available now. It's in Hylo for any group to start playing with.
And there's just
okay.
one more thing I'll add. Sorry, Tibet.
Yeah.
There's one more thing I'll add. As a part of this, there is Hylo is resourcing ourselves through this feature, and Hylo uses or takes 7% of whatever the offering price is to help maintain our platform as an open source platform and to resource the work that we're doing. So just wanted to add that note too.
Yeah, this is the first, I would say, business model that we've launched as Hylo besides donations. Of course, we're a nonprofit. And so, yeah, I think it's, we're not expecting this to be a major source of revenue, but it's great to be able to have some sustainability coming through the platform itself. All right, so I'm going to talk about one more coming soon significant release for Hylo that we're working on right now, which we call Spaces and Views. And I think I've mentioned this maybe on the last call, and we had a fishbowl where we invited the community to come participate in the design process and offer feedback. And I'll put the link to the kind of specification for this feature set in the chat as well. And so this is a pretty significant in some ways, although hopefully it will only change things for the better and not actually be a major change for most of the groups on Hylo right now. But it's a kind of shift to what we call the information architecture for how you organize content and posts into different spaces in Hylo to be much more powerful and flexible and kind of solve some of the main issues that we hear from Hylo groups right now, which is that the stream versus the chat versus discussions is a little bit confusing, and people don't know when to use the chat and when to create a full discussion post. And sometimes, they can kind of look similar, but go in reverse directions and be a little bit confusing for folks. Right now, chat rooms are the primary way that we let people kind of organize different topics or themes into different spaces in Hylo, but they're pretty limited in some ways. And so we are going to be adding what we call spaces to Hylo, which is sort of similar to creating a child group. Like right now, you can create another group and make it a child of a Hylo group and have that be another way that you can kind of organize into different spaces. But that's a little more heavy than most people want when you're creating a group, a sort of subspace for, say, a team in your organization or a circle in your sociocratic governance structure, or maybe you have a regional or local groups within your Hylo group. And so we think that Spaces is going to be a much more both simple and powerful and flexible way of organizing your Hylo group. And so I'll actually just show a demo of our in-progress designs. This is very in progress. There's a lot of things in here that are not how it's going to look in the final results. And some of the things that look more different than the current Hylo are just part of the design process. So I just wanted to highlight the main changes here. So this is a create group flow. And one of the things you'll notice is that we're going to allow you to choose which post types you actually want or don't want in the group moving forward. Right now, we have discussions, events, requests and offers, proposals, resources, and projects. And we know that not all groups want all these different post types, and it can be confusing for some groups that don't want them. So we're going to let you kind of turn those off. And then we're right now, well, I'll show the Hylo menu, especially for new folks in a moment, but you have your group menu on the left with kind of all the different views that people can go into to view content. And so we're going to let you customize which views you start with. And right now you do this directly in the menu, and you'll still be able to do that, but it'll also be a part of the create group process. And then you'll be able to add these additional spaces. And each space can have its own full set of views. And I'll show that in a moment as well. Let me just go into the rest of the demo here. So here you have a Hylo group that has chat as its home. All activity, we're renaming what's currently called stream to all activity to be more clear about what it is. It's basically where all of the content that is happening in your Hylo group can be found in one place. And we're actually going to default new groups to all activity as the home. Although You can, of course, change that when you're creating your group or after the fact. We're still going to have the views for different post types, like events. We'll still have the map view. And then you'll be able to create these different spaces. And spaces are basically places within the group where you can put content that's in its own separate bucket. So in this case, there's a Buy Nothing group within the Bay Delta bioregion. So it has its own request and offer space. It has its own chat. We have a local resilience space. So there's posts that can go that are about local resilience that can go here. One of the main changes and nice things about this is right now you can't actually rename a chat room after you create it. And so it'll be easy to rename your spaces. And if in the initial migration, if you have a number of chat rooms right now in your group, they're just going to become spaces that only have a chat view. And so they'll still appear just as a top level item in your menu. And when you click on it, it'll directly just go straight to the chat and it'll only be chat. We won't even have this menu. But you'll be able to then customize that space and add other views. Let's say you want to have events within that space, for example, or have a map. These are track spaces. So tracks will become a special kind of space right now. Another really nice new aspect of spaces is you'll be able to control access. And so you can have spaces that are open to anyone in the group. You can have spaces that are only open to people with certain roles, or you can have spaces that are invite only and are kind of hidden. So it gives a lot more flexibility around how you want to use these different spaces. And so here's a track. You'll basically click on a space and click to join it if you're not a part of it, and then see the content of it. So I haven't joined this space. And now I jumped in and I can see the different views inside of it. If I edit the menu, you can see every group will basically have what we call the main space, which is the set of views that just live within the top level group. So I can add views here that are not currently in the menu. You can still add custom views that filter posts by different custom features. And this is a somewhat clickable prototype, but doesn't have all the clickable pieces in place as just a design demo. And then I can also go down here and add a whole new space and give it a name, choose an icon, which posts are accepted by that space, which views are included in it, and what the access settings are. And both for groups and spaces, we will eventually add templates. This probably won't roll out at the beginning, but templates for different kinds of spaces that you might want to add to your group. So I think that is maybe all I'll share right now. I mean, there's more here in the document that I shared in the group. Tries to talk through all of the changes and features pretty straightforward way. We love your comments on it. We're in the process of building this out now and imagine it will be ready for testing in the next couple weeks. And so, yeah, again, we're hoping that this won't really change anything about your current groups. The menu will stay looking the same as it is now. The only difference is that chat rooms will be converted into these chat spaces and have the ability to be renamed and have much more flexible views added to them. And then all of the new features are things that we think you'll be excited about, adds much more flexibility, but also simplicity and clarity. One thing I should mention is that chat is no longer going to show full postcards like the all activity does, because we found that is one of the main things that makes it confusing. Am I doing it in the chat room, which is for like quick back and forth daily chat, or am I looking at the kind of longer form content and posts and discussions? And we think that'll help make much more clear like when to use chat, when to use posts. And we will have a setting where you can have little notices appear in the chat for other posts if you have chat as your home and you want to make sure people are tracking the other post types. But mainly you'll go into the different views for the different post types. So you'll go into the discussion view. This won't work in this prototype, but to look at discussions, you'll go into the events for finding events. So same with resources and proposals and projects. All right. I think I'll stop there. And yeah, again, we'd love comments on that document. If you're someone who likes to nerd out and get deep into the weeds of how we're building this and want to contribute there, or if you have ideas for how to make this work well. And yeah, thanks so much for listening. Pass it back to you, Yasmin. And or unless there's any questions in the chat here. Cool. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Tibet. All right, so up next, Krisha will interview Tiffany Hart, who's going to be sharing about her experience within Hylo.
Okay, so I'm going to quickly introduce Tiffany and let her share more about herself. Tiffany is, I would consider her one of our power users, one of the most active members on Hylo, not only within the community she's stewarding, but really taking on the role of like the ecosystem mapping, weaving the network together, which is really what Hylo is about. Like, how can we become the network of networks? And we need people that can span across these communities and see the big picture. And that's where Tiffany comes in. So Tiffany, we're so excited to have you on Hylo always, and so happy to have you on this call to share a little bit more about yourself and the work that you're doing in the world. So I just want to pass it to you to give a brief introduction about yourself, and then we can go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually going through a lot of transition right now. So I feel like my story has been long and winding to get here. And now I'm in the midst of change again. But I've been, yeah, an active community weaver, I would say, is definitely a role that I identify with. My professional background is actually in finance and accounting, and so I was an accountant in a few different industries, but largely in the advertising industry, which is an interesting space to be working in because you're dealing with people and customers and a lot of different elements that you're trying to track and understand, and it kind of gave me a microcosm of a model of how to use data to really understand situations and understand points in time and goals of where we want to be and how to use that in really dynamic ways. And so I actually left my corporate work in the accounting world in 2022. I decided to leave work and be home with my kids. They were 4 and 6 at the time. No, younger, 3 and 5 at the time. And so we started our homeschooling journey, and it gave me an opportunity to take a step back from the normal mainstream world that I was living in and really apply myself to finding what was mine to do in the world and finding the agency to work on my own projects and find a path forward that felt really aligned with the work that I wanted to do. And so starting on our homeschool journey, we really I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in the Midwest. And so we have been able to build a really rich community of folks here. That's been our main outlet that we found for building that tribe and that village in our place-based situation and where we're at. And it's been a really fun journey. And throughout the process, then I've also been able to use projects that are aligned with the work that I'm trying to do with my own children and how that applies to the wider community, and to use that data, knowledge, and skills to map it out as I go. And so that is kind of the path that I started on in bioregional mapping, was really taking a look at what was around me, who was working in various food systems or supply chains and different spaces in the local Midwest. We got to know a lot of regenerative farmers and understand how, what their pain points were and what kind of support they were needing from others in the community, and have been able to really weave in that way And I came across Hylo probably about 5 years ago. And when I did, it just felt like a light bulb flashed on. And it seemed to be the answer to so many questions that people were asking of how do we coordinate at this level. And I just saw it as the platform where you could really, really do that, where you could create a social aspect and where you could bolster relationship and have space for relationship, but to also, not have it be this sticky thing that that really takes over your own own circumstances and everything. And so yeah, I've been a really big Hylo advocate ever since then, and have been experimenting with different ways to bring my communities and groups online, and helping to support the communities that do exist here.
That's great. Yeah, I really appreciate what you shared about your old world of working in finance and accounting, and how it really does relate to the work that you're doing today, which is having that big picture, the vision, and really holding that while like what are the everyday steps that we need to get there. And those are sometimes the hardest things. But having that vision and holding it for the Hylo community, I think is such a gift. I guess my follow-up question to you would be, what kind of support what kind of support do you need right now for the work that you're doing with bioregional mapping and beyond?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually transitioning back into full-time work now. My husband's taking over homeschooling on with our kids, and I'm moving back into finance world, but more on a larger scale of impact finance and tracking capital flows in that space. So that's very exciting for me that I get to use my skills in that way again. But I've really I feel like I have so many balls rolling in the Hylo world, and just lots of calls scheduled. I've been really active in the Great Simplification group, which I think I see a number of folks from that group here as well. And it's been a really nourishing place. I think during COVID and when everyone went online, there was almost a surge of connection happening in the digital space, where there was the space that allowed for a lot of vulnerable sharing and a lot of vulnerable, open, authentic connection. And I think there was a little glimmer of how we find those points of connection, especially in this hard work that a lot of us are doing. And I think that Hylo is starting to open up more doors for that. And I'm seeing we had our impromptu self-organized community call for the Great Simplification, and just seeing the amount of elders and different generations represented in that call, and just the holding the heaviness of everything that's going on in the world. I think I love that Hylo is like creating a space for that, for people to connect. So just wanting to, I guess I'm wanting to see more people just interacting in this space and finding ways that we can connect, so we can keep that energy going and keep that as an open door for a place where people can land in the midst of all the chaos.
Yeah, I totally heard that. Okay, my last question is, what advice do you have to people who are new to Hylo or want to activate and getting involved?
Yeah, I would say, I think definitely check out more of the groups, because I think that there's so many great groups coming online, and there's a lot of alignment across all the different spaces. And so I think it's hard to make the transition to a new platform sometimes. And I think that the more you can find the things that you're looking for in one space, it tends to be more successful.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I'm actually going to pop the Kumu map that you created, linking all the related groups that you've been navigating in the chat for folks to check out. This is something that we eventually want to be able to build into Hylo. We're very inspired by this. But yeah, Tiffany, thank you so much for your presence on Hylo, and just for being that visionary and supporting this vision in coming to life. So yeah, we'll see you on Hylo for sure.
Yeah, I'm always a big supporter of the Hylo team and grateful for all you guys are doing.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Krisha. Thank you, Tiffany, for such a great interview. We thought it would be good for today to do kind of maybe a question and maybe meet some new friends here on Hilo. So we'll go into a breakout room for the next maybe 10 to 12 minutes. And the prompt for today is what becomes possible when we begin working together as one global community. And so this is the prompt. So you'll each have about 3 to 4 minutes each, and I'll let you know when it's time to switch to the next person. And we'll see you back here very soon. All right, enjoy your conversations. See you soon.
We hired a big media agency.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had some wonderful conversations. Maybe let's take a minute to write down in the chat, maybe a highlight or something that a realization or an insight around this question. That way we can all see each other's responses, and then maybe we'll have a couple shares for the rest of our time together. All right, let's take a minute and write in the chat something meaningful that you have heard.
I lost it.
All right, I'm seeing some answers already. Using Hylo to decentralize organizing and one world, systemic change, big things, SDGs, small things, let's. Tibet, maybe I'll have you share out. Okay, maybe I'll get a few, if that's all right. Maybe some of you can share, just unmute yourself and share what transpired in your group. That would be wonderful. I'll take a few.
Well, yeah, I can share a little bit. Just a few folks in our group brought up, thinking about this balance between the important work that needs to happen locally, which Hylo is really passionate about supporting neighborhood groups, bioregional groups, and that's where so much of the actual work for regenerating our landscapes and ecologies and building resilience and building community actually happens. And at the same time, we need to be recognizing our global interdependence and interconnection, and how do we find that balance of what happens bottom up, or maybe it all comes from the bottom up, but some of the projects and conversations and work does need to happen taking the global perspective. So finding that balance.
Love that. Yeah, so important. I see Suzanne's note as well. That's important. Sharing across countries in meetings like this help unite and share. Resonate with that very much. Chuck.
Thanks again. Yeah, no, I'm very, very excited about Hylo. I have been working for almost 45 years on global issues and came down, 30 years ago, gave congressional testimony on the importance of global health. And we haven't been doing that. So in about 6 days, we're going to celebrate here in the United States the Declaration of Independence. And what shocked me, I learned a couple of months ago that the word independence is not even in the original title of that document, and it's nowhere in the writing of it. In fact, it was an international, globally intended document about human freedom, and so I'm working on trying to educate people about Americans who celebrate it with fireworks and hot dogs, and they don't understand that we are completely interdependent. And global health has got to be our highest priority, and that means achieving the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So I'm glad that he brought that up. Yeah. Anyway, so no, I'm very excited about Hylo and bringing people together to unite into a movement of movements on this planet, and stop competing with each other and start working together and kicking some butt. Anyway, that's it.
Love that, Chuck. Thank you for sharing your perspective. Yeah, I have to say, I used to be very proud that Morocco was the first. I'm from Morocco originally, and it was the first country to recognize the independence of the United States in 1776, which is happening in a couple days. The day that Morocco is also playing against Canada, FYI, FIFA fans out there. But, and then I learned about the history here in the US about what happened to the indigenous communities. So I'm no longer proud of that. So now it's not a good day anymore. So yeah, it's interesting. learn about the history. And anyone else would like to share? We still got a few minutes.
I'm
All
just,
right.
oh,
Go ahead.
I'm
Jesse.
just excited to see how many people are like working together. The symbiosis is that, you see an idea and you grow, and that's certainly happening with Hylo, like just in the last couple of months, how much the vibrancy and, what you can do here is just amazing. So that just expands.
I love that. Yeah, and to Tiffany's point, also like to really go out there and look at what the other groups are doing is really interesting and expands your worldview even more to realize that one, you're not alone doing this work. There are other groups around the world who are doing such amazing work, and we can all learn from each other. So yeah, that's my little insight. Lorraine.
Yeah, Yasmin, I wanted to respond to your candid thing about, I live in the United States. I am a United States citizen, but I was born and raised in Ireland. I'm an immigrant here. I am an Indigenous person. And I wanted to say that when things like that we become aware of that were painful, mistaken, even horrors like genocide, in the bigger picture, if we can remain in a more neutral and generous place, that humans, like in my individual life at the small scale, I make mistakes and I want to be forgiven for them and I need to be held to task for them. The United States certainly has to be held to task for what's happened. But somehow I think we have to see all of it as being a progress, because I know in living organisms, which is a lot of the work I do, even when a body is sick, you cannot condemn the body for the infection in one place. You have to work with the infection to get that organ back online so that the entire organism can function. So in a way, the United States, with its big, brassy, loudmouthed way of making enormous mistakes and also doing some enormously important things, I always appreciate that Churchill said you could count on the Americans all the time. It's just they won't act till the last minute. So I have my fingers crossed that the Americans will continue to wake up and see what's important, because we're so large and we use so many resources. We're the 500-pound gorilla in the room here in the United States. So we have work to do. But I just wanted to contextualize it. It lets no one off the hook. Genocide is genocide, but we have to keep a very generous, open way to keep moving forward.
That's beautiful. So happy 250th anniversary, America. I mean, in a way, it feels like, I don't know, the way I think of it is, it's like it's being a teenager. They're still like learning the lessons and growing, but they have a long way. We have a long way to go. I'm about to become a US citizen as well this year. So fingers crossed, if they'll have me. Or if you will have me.
I would say, we'll have you. We'll see whether you get your papers, but we will have you.
Thank you, Lorraine. That was a beautiful perspective. Thank you for sharing.
Let me know if you need any support in that.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate that. Very cool. Wow. I'm always so inspired by these conversations. And you still have a few minutes if anyone has like a dying to share something or an insight.
Or a final question.
Final questions. Oh, and we should take our family photo before I forget too.
Oh,
I keep every month. All right. Maybe we'll do a countdown to 4, 3. Put your cameras on if you can. 3, 2, 1, 1.5, and 0. Amazing. Actually, let me just share one more thing. And I see, John, you have your hand up. Just our next community call will be July 30th, 2026. I'm going to put the link down here in the chat. John, over to you. You had a question? You raised it. Your hand was.
I was just waving at you.
Oh, oh, right.
And you're doing another 15 minutes for us newcomers that have no idea how all these buttons work.
Yes, we'll stay on. And just to give you based off of the demo that Tibet shared, there's going to be quite a few changes with the interface and the navigation, but we'll do a high level overview of where it stands, and we'll be doing a lot of sessions to support people with the new interface.
Thank you.
Let me know how I can support you guys.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
This marks the end of our call. And if anyone is new and would like to stay on for an extra 15 minutes, we'll do a brief demo of the platform and answer any more questions. Thank you all so much for being here today.
Thanks all.
Yes, of course, Karen, you can stay. Anyone who wants to stay, please do stay. We're going to do a quick overview.
All right.
All right, let me share my screen. All right, cool. So this is the Hylo interface. Right now, I'm exploring a demo group that I've set up called the Regenerative Agriculture Network. So the first thing you're going to see when you land in a group is this group menu here. Again, this is going to be changing, but just going to show you if you were to log into Hylo today, what you'd be seeing. This menu is basically set by the group stewards and is the most important things that they want you to do in the group. So you'll see here that there's a brief welcome page to get you comfortable what to do in the group and give you an idea of where to go to do what. The events view is highlighted, so this shows a calendar of all events going on in this community. There's a view for resources and research and articles. Again, these are custom views set by the group steward. One thing we're going to highlight is Hylo has a group map, which allows you to see what's happening in your local area. So if you're with your member profile, with any piece of content that you set on Hylo, you can attach a location so it shows up on the map. And the reason for this is we really want people to tap into their local landscape and connect with people and opportunities in their local area. So again, this is going to change quite a bit. One thing that will stay the same is the members view. Excuse me. If I click on here, I can see a list of all the members in any group. And you can search by name, skill, or interest. And you can also sort by those that are closest to you. So you can use the member directory to find others that might have similar skills and interests to you and to build those connections. So if I go to a member profile, you can learn more about them. You can see all the skills and interests that they've listed on their profile. You can see groups that they're a member of and also recent activity in your shared groups. If you want to send a direct message to someone from here itself, you could just click this messaging icon here, and it takes you to a direct message thread with that person. All right, so we're going to zoom out a little bit here. We've been exploring the Regenerative Agriculture Network. If I go to the left navigation panel, at the top, I'll see my profile, which takes me to not only my content. So here you'll see posts you've created, any draft posts that you've started and haven't finished, interactions. So here's where any content will show up where you've commented or engaged with. At mentions will show up here. So if you've been tagged on a piece of content using the @ symbol and your name, that will show up here. Your saved posts, any tracks that you're participating in, and funding rounds will show here. I'm not going to dive into those, but basically anything you've interacted with on Hylo will show up in this section. If I go down below, I see my account settings here. This is where you can edit your profile. And again, I can't stress enough how much of a fully filled out profile makes an impact in connecting with others. So always include an image so people know what you look like, a little bit about yourself, And again, here's where you can add your location. So you show up on the group map, your website if it's relevant, and skills and interests and things you're learning. Again, as we saw in the member directory, all of this is searchable within Hylo. So it's really great to share everything that you're doing so others can connect with you over those things. Here's where you can see all the communities you're a part of and leave communities that might not be relevant anymore. Here's where you can adjust your colors, your Hylo themes. And here's where you can adjust the language in which Hylo is for you. So we currently have English, Spanish, German, French, Hindi, and Portuguese. If there's a language, if your language is not on here, please let us know and we can add that. Below my my settings, you'll see activities. This is where you get notifications on content relevant to you. And to adjust your notification settings, you would do so here in your group settings. Below, you will see a section for direct messages. Here's where you can create new direct messages as well. And then here we have the comments. So this is where you can find any piece of content that's been publicly shared across Hylo. And find things beyond your groups. So one thing I'm going to point out here is where we have the Group Explorer. So you can search for groups that you might be interested in here that you're not already a part of. So you can search by keyword, say you're interested again in permaculture. Here are some communities that list permaculture in their groups. So you can explore those and connect with them. Below that, you will see all the groups that you're a part of. I doubt any of you have this many groups. To organize it, one thing you can do is actually pin groups to the top. So you'll see these are my most important groups here, pinned to the top. To pin a group to the top, you would right click on it, and then you'll see this button to pin to the top. So that it's available at the very top and easily found. So if at any point you have any questions about Hylo, there is a button here for feedback and support. And here's where you can send us a message. Those come to me. And you can ask us any questions about Hylo, technical questions. Here's where you can also share any bugs or things that aren't working correctly. So this is a pretty high level demo because again, things are going to change pretty dramatically within a month with the launch of Spaces and Views that Tibet presented. But happy to stay on and answer any specific questions about the interface as it is. What are the changes that we're going to experience, and yeah, support you. So I'll open it up to questions.
I don't see the hand raise function, so I'm going to just chime in.
Yes.
Is there a base group in Northern California?
There is. There's the Bay Area bioregion group that we can connect you to.
I'm originally from Mendocino and Sonoma County.
Oh, cool. Where are you now?
Up in Eugene, Oregon.
Cool. I'm going to link the bioregional commons and the Bay Delta bioregion group for you, actually. I can't invite you to this. Let's see.
Yeah.
And here itself, go ahead.
Good. I still do a lot of work down in the Bay Area, so.
Okay, cool. What I would do is in this bioregional commons group, I would just share a message saying that you're looking for communities where you're located, because what the aim of this group is to connect all bioregional groups on Hylo, basically link them here. So if you go to the groups tab, you'll see all these different bioregional groups that are connected to the bioregional commons. So there might be one where you are, and if not, you're so invited to create one or join one of the existing ones.
Well, you can hopefully connect with cascadiabioregion.org
Yes,
and
definitely.
help build out the northern part of your system here.
I think Cascadia might. We were talking to Cascadia about coming onto Hylo. I'm not sure where that stands right now, but
I'll connect you with one internal influencer if you don't mind.
oh yeah, of course.
Just email me.
Awesome.
Krishna, can you just say why is it named Hylo? How did it get that name?
I think it comes from man, I wish I could answer this like Tibet could. It comes from the holonic architecture where the individual feeds the whole and the whole feeds the individual, like the infinity symbol. I think it's derived from that, but I'm not certain. I'll get a good answer for you and I can share that in Building Hylo.
Thank you.
Of course.
Krisha, can I chime in and ask a question
Of
here?
course. Yeah.
I'm very new to this, and I moved over here from Nate Hagen's Great Simplification.
Uh-huh.
And when I originally logged onto this and filled out, I got hundreds of emails, mostly from our friend, was it Trish, who spoke today? And for the beginning here, I just kind of like to keep it local in this until I do it. I really don't want to, and I'm still learning how to do this.
Of course. Let me just run through notifications with you. I think that would be helpful to turn off all the noise.
Yeah.
So what you would do, click on your photo icon
Okay.
and then on notifications.
Right.
In this section, you can adjust all the notifications across all your groups. If you go down below, basically you can set them group by group. But I'm going to show you over here how to do this. And then if you want to change them, you can go to that group and change them. So here,
the default group is the one group that I've got.
okay.
Is that correct?
Are you only a member of one group?
Yep. For right now, till I learn how to use it.
Okay, great. So you're going to go onto the right side of that group. You'll see a gear icon.
Yep.
Click on that. And then you can turn off email and push notifications.
Okay.
Here below, you can, when they ask you if you want an email digest, which you've been getting a lot of, you can put never or weekly. So you get them once a week. You can adjust when you get new post notifications. So anytime a new post is created in the group, you can determine if none of those notify you, if only important posts. So if you are if you are at mentioned, if someone says at John Flatberg on a piece of content, only then you get that notification. So you can decide which one you prefer. And again, for the chat room, because we have those chat spaces that might be blasting you, I have a feeling you could go to no posts.
Okay.
So once you save that, I have a feeling that you'll be good to go. And then you can come here and adjust those when it feels right.
Thank you.
So when we log on, we will see this page where my home page is in the upper left-hand corner with those super commands. That's the landing page.
That's the landing page.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Any other questions? I'm going to throw in the chat a link to Building Hylo. This is basically a space for all our open source contributors, fans, people who are new to Hylo, and also Hylo community organizers. This is a space for people who are creating groups or managing groups, for them to ask questions, share what they're doing, and get feedback from the community. So I've shared both of those links here. Thomas, earlier in the chat, I sent those two by our regional groups. Links to that. I can reshare those if that would be helpful. But yeah, I really recommend, if you're new to Hylo, join us in those two spaces that I just shared. And then feel free to share what you're interested in connecting with, why you're coming to Hylo. And then people in the community can help guide your journey, including the Hylo team. And I'm going to just emphasize it one more time. The interface is going to change quite a bit with this new launch. It's going to be a lot more intuitive and easy to use. So once that launches, we'll be hosting a lot of sessions to support you in navigating in the new platform.
And will we automatically be getting those invitations, or do we need to sign up somewhere to make sure we do?
So the links I just included here, just click on them and that will take you to the group.
Okay.
And if you're not already on Hylo, it'll prompt you to sign up, and then you can join those groups. So depending on the privacy and access of settings, you might have to request access, and then a moderator accepts your request to join.
Okay. Thank you.
You're so welcome. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you on Hylo.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for all you're
Bye.
doing.
Oh,
Yes,
thank you. Thank you for being here.
And just know that Northwest Permaculture Convergence is the uh, birth organization of Cascadia. So there's a whole bunch of people from that organization that birthed the other organization.
That would be a really awesome thing to share in that bioregional group that I shared with you, Thomas. I
Yeah,
think that would be relevant to a lot of folks there.
I wanted to share with you privately because some things said can get people's up in arms about things, but there is some funding
Fair.
that I can funnel back to you guys if you want.
That's great to hear.
I'm
Thank
sitting
you.
on a nonprofit that has leftover funding from the start.
That'd be great to connect over. If you're open, I'm going to share my email here. Just feel free to send me a note so we can continue the thread.
Okay, and I also sent you my email in the chat, so when you save
Oh,
it,
great. I might have missed that.
it's okay. It's thomaseprice@gmail.com. It's okay.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
And I
All
signed
right.
up with
Thanks,
it.
all.
Thank you.
Awesome. Bye, all.
Bye, everybody. Thank you all so much.
Bye.